Welcome back everyone. This is the second lesson recording for IM1, March 16th, 2021. Now you're taking notes and we're going to be solving absolute value equations level 1. So you are solving equation like absolute value of 2x minus 10 close absolute values is equal to 26. So the first thing you need to do is you need to use the expression inside the absolute value symbol. Write the two separate equations, positive and negative version of the result. So when you just have the absolute value on one side and just some number or some expression on the other side, you basically need to isolate the absolute value first on the left hand side. Okay, so when you have that, then you separate the equation into two separate equations. One's going to be positive version, one's going to be negative version. So, and then you solve both equations for two separate solutions. And then finally, you can verify the solution against the original absolute value equation. So let's just show how we do that. Okay, so separate into two equations. So the first equation could be that we have a positive, what's inside 2x minus 10 could be positive version of 26 or the negative version of 26. So here we have the positive version of 26 or here we have the negative version of the 26. Okay, so then you separate the two equations and then you solve them separately. Okay, so think of them as independent answers. What do we do to solve 2x minus 10 is equal to 26? Well, we first need to get rid of this subtract 10 by adding 10 to both sides, and you're left with 2x is equal to 36, and then divide both sides by 2 and you get x is equal to 18. The other equation, you do the same thing. You add 10 to both sides to get rid of this negative 10, and then you divide both sides by 2 to get x is equal to negative 18. Notice that you do not get just the positive and negative versions of the answers. This is positive 18 and this is not negative 18, but it's just negative 8. Okay, so they are very independent answers a lot of the times. So you can't just find one answer and say, oh, I found one answer, so the other answer has to be negative 18. Not true. Okay, then once you have found your answer, always a good idea to check your answer. How do I do that? To verify, you need to substitute whatever the value you got to the original equation that you're given and see if you come up with a true statement. So if I substitute that in, for whenever I see a x in the equation, I substitute 18. So 2 times 18 minus 10. Then you start evaluating what's on the left hand side. 2 times 18, that's 36. 36 minus 10, that's 26. And then take the absolute value of 26 is 26. So that is true. What about the left hand, the right equation? Again, 2 times negative 8 is going to be negative 16. Negative 16 minus 10 is negative 26. And when you take the absolute value of negative 26, that's going to be positive 26. So that checks out. So with that, you're going to be working on card number 6 to 10 of Desmos. Here we go. Select all the values that can make this equation true. If I have absolute value of negative 18 here, if the question mark was negative 18 here, take the absolute value of that, that's going to give me 18 as the output. So that's true. If I have 6 in the absolute value symbol, absolute value of 6 is 6. So that's not 18. So that's not true. 0 is not true. Negative 6 is not true. But positive 18 would also be true, because if I have 18 inside the absolute value symbol, take the absolute value of that, that's going to be positive 18 as well. What about this? When solving absolute value equations, the expression inside the absolute value symbol can take on two possible values. So if you have absolute value of x plus 4 is equal to 18, then x plus 4 could be, what's inside the absolute value could be positive 18, but it could also be negative 18 as well, because this, if this was negative 18, that's going to still give the output, once you apply the absolute values function, it's going to still give the output as positive 18. So this could be positive 18 or it could be negative 18. Okay, and then you submit. Solve both equations separately. Okay, now that we have said that x plus 4 is equal to 18, or x plus 4 is could be equal to negative 18, how do I solve this? Well, first equation, x plus 4 is equal to 18. I don't want x plus 4, I just want x. That means I need to get rid of this plus 4. How do I get rid of plus 4? Subtract 4 from both sides. If I take away 4 from both sides, 18 minus 4 is going to be 14. What about if I subtract 4 from negative 18? That is going to be negative 22. Now we're solving the example like problem. Absolute value of negative 4x plus 2 is equal to 30x. Use the sketch pad so I can help you clarify thinking. Okay, so you can do your work here and then you write your final answer here. I am going to show my work below. So I know what's inside. What's inside here could be positive or negative. So I can say that negative 4x plus 2 could be the positive version of 38, or it could be negative 4x plus 2. You just write exactly as it is, could be the negative version of 38. Okay, so this side is much easier to deal with the positive and negative version, so that's what we're going to do. Then from here, what do I need to do? I need to subtract 2 from both sides to get rid of this positive 2, and you are left with negative 4x is equal to 38 minus 2 is 36. Then from here, you divide both sides by negative 4, and you're left with x is equal to 36 divided by 4 is 9. Positive divided by negative is negative, so x is equal to 9. And let's try the other equation, other possibility. Again, I need to subtract 2 from both sides. That leaves me with negative 4x is equal to negative 38 minus 2. You're becoming more negative, so that becomes negative 40. And divide both sides by negative 4. And you're left with x is equal to 40 divided by 4 is 10. Negative divided by negative is positive, so it's positive 10. So I have my two solutions. My two solutions are negative 9 and positive 10. And I submit. Okay, then Janelle solved absolute value of 80 minus 4x is equal to 50 and got the solution to be x is equal to 5 and x is equal to negative 5. Are her solutions correct? Show how you would verify. We're not talking about solving. Verify her solutions on the sketch. Okay, so how would I do that? Well, what I need to do is I need to write my two solutions. X is equal to 5 and x is equal to negative 5. My two equations are absolute value of 80 minus 4x. So instead of x, I am going to write what I have as a solution. Is that equal to 50? That's my question. And for the second solution, I do the same thing. 80 minus 4 times negative 5. Is that equal to 50? That's the question. So you always substitute to the original equation, not to modify the equation, but to the original equation. So then let's start simplifying. Okay, how do we simplify? We always need to simplify inside first, and we do multiplication before addition. So multiplying negative 4 times 5 is negative 20. So 80 minus 20, is that equal to 50? 80 minus 20. 80 minus 20 is 60. Is absolute value of 60 same as 50? No, it's not true. Okay, so x is equal to 5 is not a solution. That's my conclusion from this, and I can just check the other one too, and that leaves me with 80 minus negative 4 times negative 5 is positive 20. Is that equal to 50? Well, 80 plus 20 is 100. Absolute value of 100 is not 50. So that is not true. So the solutions are incorrect will be my answer. Now let's extend that further. Now solving absolute value equations level 2. So if I have negative 4, absolute value of 1 plus 2x is equal to negative 20. What is the operation between negative 4 and this absolute value symbol? It is multiplication, right? So what we need to do is, the first step is to isolate absolute value on one side of the equation. We want just the absolute value symbol expression. Okay, we don't want this negative 4, or we don't want anything else around the absolute value symbol. So then the second step is to write two separate equations for positive and negative versions, and then solve both equations for two separate solutions. And then finally, it's optional but always good idea to verify solution against the original absolute value equation. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so negative 4 is being multiplied to absolute value of 1 plus 2x. So in order to have just this 1 plus 2x, what I need to get rid of is this negative 4. What is negative 4 doing to absolute value? It is being multiplied. So how do I undo it? I divide both sides by negative 4, and then you are left with absolute value of 1 plus 2x is equal to negative 20 divided by negative 4 is 5. And then from here, it's just the same thing that we've been doing in level 1. You separate the two equations, what's inside to be equal to the positive version and to be equal to the negative version, because what's inside here in the absolute value could be positive or negative. So when you do that, then you start solving. I subtract 1 from both sides and I get 4. 2x is equal to 4, divide both sides by 2, and you get x is equal to 2. Same thing here, I subtract 1 from both sides and I am left with, should be negative 6. Okay, it should be negative 6 here, and then divide both sides by 2 and I should get negative 3. So that's how you would do it. And when I verify it, obviously I should get this as wrong because I have a typo here, but I will fix that in the actual lesson. So now let's try to solve absolute value of x minus 8 plus 4 is equal to 28. So how do I do that? I'm going to start by writing it first. Always a good idea to write the problem when you're doing your homework or whatever else. Okay, what I need to isolate the absolute value. Okay, so that means I want just this by itself, nothing else. So I want to get rid of this plus 4. How do I get rid of this plus 4? What is plus 4 doing to my absolute value from? It is adding 4. So I need to subtract 4 from both sides, and that leaves me with x minus 8. Absolute value of x minus 8 is 28, minus 4 is 24. Now that I've isolated the absolute value symbol on one side with a number on the other side, I can separate it into two different branches. One's going to be the positive version, one's going to be the negative version. And as you do that, that's when you get rid of the absolute value symbol, because you are taking into account that one could be positive and one could be negative. So that's when the absolute value symbol goes away. Then from here, I can add 4 to both sides, or I can add 8 to both sides, and that leaves me with x is equal to 32. I can add 8 to both sides here, and that leaves me with x is equal to negative 24 plus 8 is negative 16. So my solutions are positive 32 and ne